Hey everyone, happy holidays. In addition to the Asus VivoBook 14-inch OLED laptop, I also ordered the Lenovo IdeaPad Pro 7i Slim laptop. Let's get to opening up the box and seeing what's inside. Specs are somewhat similar to the VivoBook as they both have a Core i5-11300 CPU, a 2880 by 1800 14-inch glossy screen, and an aluminum body, with the difference that the IdeaPad has an aluminum bottom cover, which is a bonus over the VivoBook's plastic bottom cover. The IdeaPad also comes with Windows 11 Home pre-installed, unlike the VivoBook, which will save you from having to upgrade the laptop from Windows 10 to 11 if that's something you care about. I'm guessing since this is an IdeaPad, Lenovo decided to put the laptop inside of a pretty box. And to the side of the laptop, there's a charger and power cable. Differences, however, is that the screen on the IdeaPad is IPS instead of OLED, has a touchscreen, and has 16 gigs of memory instead of 8. Keyboard flex isn't bad, but the keyboard itself surprisingly isn't as good as the Asus, and could use more travel and less side-to-side play. Similarly to the MacBook Air, the IdeaPad has a sharp, thin edge, making typing uncomfortable. I'm definitely not a fan of the keyboard and had quite a few typos using this keyboard, and the touchpad is even worse. When using the touchpad, whenever I try to left click anywhere other than the bottom left corner, it had a lot of trouble registering left clicks, which is very frustrating and should just work right out of the box. It also falsely registered gestures and seemed to have a mind of its own. In fact, it's hot garbage, sucks booty balls, and the keyboard and touchpad are the two reasons why I'm not keeping this laptop. I find myself using the touchscreen as a mouse, which shouldn't be the case. Opening up the inner box yields the laptop itself and some documentation. Performance also wasn't as good as the VivoBook, and I had to actually update the BIOS to get better performance than out of the box. However, performance was still down. The laptop throttles a lot, and is more than likely due to poor thermal design. Overall performance for this laptop was underwhelming, and there were times where the laptop would hang loading a web page or trying to open a program, and would remain unresponsive for anywhere between 10 to 30 seconds at a time. Connectivity is rather sparse as there are only two USB-C ports, a USB 3.0 port, and a 3.5mm combo jack. Keep in mind that one USB-C port is utilized by the charger, although this is still better than, let's say, a MacBook Air which only has two USB-C ports. Taking a look underneath the bottom cover doesn't yield anything different from other PC laptops. There's a 61 watt-hour battery, which is definitely a plus, has an Intel AX201 Wi-Fi 6 card, Western Digital SN730 256 gig SSD, and has 16 gigs of memory, which is soldered on and not upgradable. Benchmarks were run 3 times and averaged. NovaBench averaged 2185 with a high score of 2200. Cinebench R20 multi-core averaged 2158 with a high score of 2177, and single-core performance averaged 542 and a high score of 543. Cinebench R23 multi-core averaged 5399 with a high score of 5412, and single-core performance averaged 1404 with a high score of 1407. Re-encoding a 4-minute 31-second H.264 video started encoding at 29 frames per second, but due to throttling, encoded at 19 frames per second in the end, which was quite abysmal and took 5 minutes and 31 seconds to re-encode. The webcam, as with most other laptops, doesn't have very good video quality and is only sufficient enough for use. Speakers are also pretty average, and there isn't much to write home about.
you pull me through. I give it up to you. I do it all for you. Maybe this feeling's overdue. You're uninvited. You wanna hold me close.
The model number of the screen for anyone that's interested is LEN140WQ+, and has a brightness of 400 nits. And here's what the 14-inch 2880 by 1800 screen looks like at 100% scaling. And I have to admit, the screen is quite nice and probably the only thing going for this laptop. So would I recommend this laptop? No, I would rather have the VivoBook if you can get it with 16 gigs, as it has better performance, connectivity, keyboard, touchpad, and subjectively a better screen since it has an OLED backlight. If anyone is interested, I'll be doing a comparison video between the VivoBook and IdeaPad soon. Comment, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.